Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Family Real. There it is. There it is. If you've been listening, and you should be, if you're not, I have words, but I'm not gonna say. We are doing. It's not much of a challenge, but I don't care. Basically, we're doing movies based on TV shows centered around families. Right. And I drew the first straw, apparently, or I just think these people are unprepared.
No, he should go first anyway. Whatever.
Why? Whatever.
Because you're like the guy who does everything.
I went first. It's kind of like,
you came up.
Yeah,
with
she did. It was her. The Jim Carrey joint was hers.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So I was like, I went back and forth a couple of times which ones I wanted to do, because I was going to throw a curveball and do Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh,
but I couldn't watch that movie again. Not intentionally. I just don't want to. It was horrible. It's bad.
Yeah,
it's the worst. It's probably one of the worst adaptations I've seen of a thing.
I've actually never seen it. The movie. I've seen the show, but not.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
It was worse than the show.
Yeah, so much worse. Yeah. But I ended up going with the Flintstones because I love the Flintstones. I like this movie. I like the show.
Yeah.
I watch the show religiously.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. And I think as far as casting goes,
they did good.
They did spot on.
I don't think it could have gotten any better.
Yeah, some of the things they would do and how they would say, I like how they made.
Oh my gosh, my favorite. Seriously though, I'm not kidding. Rosie O'Donnell and what's her name? And the laugh.
Elizabeth something.
Perkins.
Yeah, Elizabeth Perkins.
The laugh.
It just worked.
Oh my gosh. It's like, how do they even get that laugh?
Yeah.
That took work.
Oh my gosh.
I just think that's just how Rosie O'Donnell laughs. Honestly. She's only got two. She's got that one and
it seemed like it fit her. I don't know.
It worked. It's crazy.
Because
I think before that, just saying Rosie O'Donnell, I wouldn't have been like, Rosie O'Donnell?
Yeah, if somebody would have told, because especially and it's fucked up to say, but size-wise, you wouldn't have immediately been Rosie O'Donnell as Betty, because
the cartoon was.
They're twins.
She was, just like Wilma.
They're cartoon characters. They're literal cartoon characters. Yeah. And even but it went the other way too, because Rick Moranis isn't a big fat guy, a short fat guy in this.
They made sure he was just shorter than
Fred. John Goodman. Who?
I don't know why I can't say people's names right now.
Say Leguizamo.
What? Oh, come though.
I know. It's just I heard John.
I don't know why you were.
I don't know either.
That's the first name that came.
The first John that came.
But this is perfect casting, man. John Goodman was I love him. I just can't see it. And then they did the prequel, and I was like, come.
Yeah. Rock Vegas thing.
Viva Rock Vegas with.
I liked it because
that was Stephen Baldwin.
I hate Kazoo.
No, I liked it.
I think bringing him into the show ruined the show, and I think it just makes no sense.
So
it ruined the show.
I think it was gonna be bad anyway because of the casting. I'm
talking about in the show. I hate Kazoo as a character.
Yeah,
I hated Kazoo.
I hate Kazoo.
Kazoo would just show up and be like, dum dum.
Yeah, he was kind of an a-hole.
He was just an asshole.
He was.
He served no purpose. He served no purpose other than to be like, I'm from the future or I'm an alien. Which one is it? You can teleport. You just show up when you want to. Where do you live, Kazoo? Where do you live?
Maybe. Why do we have to know he's an alien?
It's so stupid. That's why, because he's hanging around Fred all the time.
Maybe Fred is just going psycho in the Stone Ages. And
look, if you somehow did that, it would make complete sense. Because in general, the Flintstones wasn't really a kids cartoon, because
it was. You know what it was? It was the Honeymooners.
Yeah.
It was the Honeymooners in a cartoon.
Fred was a degenerate gambler.
I can't remember which came first, but the Honeymooners was the Flintstones.
It could have been either or. I don't know. I don't.
Now
I never watched the Honeymooners.
Oh,
I'm aware of the To the Moon joint.
And how they have jokes about women and stuff
Ralph Cramden was always trying to.
Well, I know that Fred
was trying to.
That's who he was
get
based
rich
off
quick
of.
or do something.
Yeah.
It was the same premise. So, I'll look it up. But anyway,
can I just say something?
You may.
Hanna-Barbera. Like, man.
Well, Hanna and Barbera.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But they call it Hanna-Barbera.
Hanna-Barbera. Well, it's like the name of the company, Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All the shows they've created. How many shows have they created?
Well, it's not even shows, characters.
Because
that's what it is when you think about it. It's just the characters. Because all those characters, like you look at their shorts, Huckleberry Hound, Snagglepuss, Peter Potamus, and Grape Ape and Magilla Gorilla. The list goes on. But then you realize they were like, we won't be able to continue this shit forever. Let's just start putting them in stuff together all the time.
Yeah.
Then you get wacky races and Laugh Olympics and all that crazy shit. Where now you have Scooby-Doo interacting with like El Kabong and shit.
It's Johnny Bravo.
It is insane. It's insane. Just the amount,
they created a whole culture.
But they are ruining it now.
Well, of course.
They have a show on HBO Max called Jellystone, where it's like an awkward cartoon with Yogi Bear and all them.
Are you kidding?
It sucks. I watched 2 episodes and I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this shit.
A lot of new age cartoons.
Yeah, they're trying so hard to keep up.
I'm going to tell you what too. I feel like now, I just thought this in my head right this second. They're trying to eliminate quote unquote children's television.
Well, there's no such thing anymore.
Yeah, I just thought about that.
Well,
everything teeters the line.
They're trying to eliminate.
I think it's always been like that. There's been a lot of jokes throughout the years.
Well, that's true, but
it wasn't the takeover. Now it's more that. It's like,
well, it's less hidden. It's less like kind of under the radar.
Well, it's like what it is just like there's cartoons and then there's shows that just happen to be cartoons.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
each cartoon, like Dexter's Laboratory, each cartoon's different. You know, each
man,
episode.
But they got some dirty. Dexter's Lab, they got some dirty jokes in that joint
they
too.
Do. They do. But I'm saying, they
had a stripper in there.
Everything's about series and getting emotionally invested into characters.
Well, that's true because that's how you get like Steven Universe.
Okay,
and stuff.
So the Flintstones first episode air date was September 30th, 1960. So the Honeymooners did come first.
Yeah.
So it was really the
1960.
Wait, let me just be sure because I'm just like
cheese and crackers.
When did this movie come out?
95.
It's 94.
I looked it up. It said 95.
I said 94 when I looked it up.
Well, look it up again. Go.
Okay, I will.
I can't look it up because I'm using my phone to record.
1955. So the Honeymooners were first. So the Flintstones were basically, literally, the cartoon version of the Honeymooners. Except they just did little things like his sidekick, Ralph Cramden's sidekick, was Ed Norton, and he was skinny.
Not that Ed Norton.
Okay, that's why I was saying.
I can see it on your face. You're like, how old is this dude?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And he called him Norton. Yeah.
I can see.
Like Ed Norton. He had a second life.
Yeah, this nigga, he found that fountain of youth.
So what did you say? Just
95, right?
The movie? Okay, hold on. Let me see. No, don't say 95, right? Because I'm gonna be right. It's 1994.
Whatever.
1940.
All I know for sure is we did see this in theaters.
It was the year before you were born.
Did you?
Yeah, we saw this in theaters.
Well, you probably went with a man.
I didn't realize.
Man, well, I know. Yeah, I definitely saw this in theaters.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how old it was, honestly, because I remember watching it from
video
a very young age.
Yeah.
Like,
your dad, because your dad got the movie.
Oh, we had it on VHS.
Yeah, your dad gonna get
and we watched it a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, when you have VHSs, you can store them as easily as you can store DVDs or Blu-rays.
Pretty much.
You had a select amount of VHSs, and you would watch them over.
Look, she's like singing her hands. I'm like.
You got a cup right there. All right, so let's start.
Let's do.
Can I address something?
You may again
else.
address what you need to address.
No, it's not needed, but I like that we're all together.
Oh yes. I know we've been doing the what is it via video
call,
feed, if you will.
This is probably
and
better.
now we're back together.
We are. I mean, the editing is going to be a pain in the ass, but whatever.
But we were trying to be responsible and be safe and all that stuff because, we had some things going on in the family.
Because of the COVID.
People had gotten sick, and
we wanted to be wise. But, we're good for a nice little minute now. So, and we hang out. We family. These are two of my children. So
we're family-ish.
That's how we do it.
So, anyways, let me just
say this: it's a lot quieter than how we do it normally when we have our family together.
Oh my God!
John already said it. We're already the loudest house.
We just moved to a new place, so this is a new place, and we're
already
the loudest house on the block. We over here in a nice area.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so like I was saying, Steven Spielrock. The fuck out of here, man. You can't do that. You can't. I'm sorry. This is the one thing I loved about the Flintstones was the puns. But they did get out of control.
With the rock,
they would get so out of control. Because it's like you can only do that with something so specific because the Jetsons never was able to be like, you know what I mean? They didn't have puns. It was like Jetsons was the pun.
Because it wasn't a reference. Because it was future.
It was just everything was like Mr. Spacely, Coswell, Cogs. Like that's it. That's as far as you're gonna go. You're not gonna get like, this is Mr. Rockstone. Like, shut up.
Everything. I mean, everything. Even Mr. Slade.
Slate.
Yeah.
Took me a while. I'm gonna be real. I didn't get that right off the bat. I didn't understand that right off the bat.
Well, when I was a kid, I didn't get that.
I didn't get it. It didn't dawn on me that Slate. No. But then it was like oh, you guys are pretty.
Probably watching this because I haven't seen it in years. I understood.
Well, now I hope so, Mr. Slate. Okay, so we get Steven Spielrock and let's say Cliff something Rock probably. I didn't get his last name.
Oh, the guy.
Yeah.
I didn't get his last name either.
Look it up.
Cliff.
Well, Cliff is enough of a pun.
Cliff Hanger. I tried.
I can't with you. I know I can't with you. You can't just say the words cliffhanger and think it works.
I don't know. It just made me think of that because. Okay.
No, it just doesn't work. You can't just start doing
work
stuff
like that, I guess.
But Cliff is there with Halle Berry.
Cliff Van. Hold on. Dang. It was Cliff. It cuts it off, don't it? It's Van something.
Van Rock. Van Rockle.
His name.
No.
Cliff is fine.
Okay, whatever. His name is Cliff.
Cliff is talking about changing the world or something like that, right? He's like, oh, we're about to be super rich and something. Oh, no, what he says is, you know what the difference between me and all those workers are is they lack vision. And then he's like, right now I have a vision of you in a two-piece or some stupid shit like that. And he was like, basically, like setting up that, not that he's evil, but that he is a shrewd businessman of some sort. Yeah, it's very vague.
Yeah.
And absolutely. Then we get Halle Berry as Sharon Stone.
I know.
You gotta have that hot secretary.
Low hanging fruit for that joke. Sharon Stone.
It works though. That's a pretty cool name.
Okay,
that's a real person.
Actress.
That's the whole point. That's why. That's the joke. There's an actress named Sharon. Stone. Oh God damn it!
Remember,
she's in Catwoman.
What's the movie?
Sharon Stone's in Catwoman.
What's the movie with Chris Rock and Bernie Mac?
Head of State.
Head of State. Remember Head of State? And that guy who's running against him.
I'm Sharon Stone's cousin.
Wait. Look it up.
No, we're not doing it. We're going to keep looking up. We're stopping to look up everything every single time.
I just forget names.
All you need to know is her name is Sharon Stone. And there's an actress named Sharon Stone.
Oh, okay. No, I've seen Sharon
Stone. She plays. She's in stuff.
Okay.
She's an actress.
She's most famous, though, for Basic Instinct.
Where she crosses her legs.
Because she has no
panties
on. And it's like an interrogation situation. And they spoofed it
in everything. Literally everything.
Yeah. I didn't see
that. I think it's even like that spoofed and scary movie.
I think it was.
With the
Moving on.
With that gym teacher. I just gotta say this. We took Malcolm and Tracy to go see Scary Movie.
I don't know why you thought that was appropriate. She did. She took us to go see it, and she was like, "Oh, I like the Wayans brothers. It's gonna be fine."
How old were you guys at that time?
Like she's never seen "Don't Be a Menace" or "I'ma Get You, Sucker."
So we're there, and they do that party scene with the gym teacher, and and Tracy was right next to you. He was like, "That's just wrong."
That is wrong, man. I didn't need to see
What
this.
were you, like 13?
Yeah, I was what, 8th grade. Malcolm was in the 9th or 10th.
Good choice, Mom.
Yeah, it was bad.
I think all parents make those.
We do,
My grandmother took me to see Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, that's not a good one either.
I bet it took me to she took me to see Hancock. And she, like, every time she heard her say, like, some kind of bad word, she'd be like, oh.
So yes, we've all made that.
It's gonna happen at some point, but
you're gonna take a mirror to see something. You're gonna be like,
nah. See, I'm not taking her to the movies anymore, so we don't have to worry about that.
JJ's already seen too much.
But this is funny to me because it goes right into the greatest opening of all time, which is the Flintstones opening. Because
that work.
Probably one of the most. I think I don't know. I would say probably one of the most iconic opening themes next to "I Love Lucy."
Everybody knows the whole thing, and you can sing the. We were singing.
He gets off, he slides down the back.
Does all of that, and great practical effects, man. I love that there was so many good practical effects.
And I like the little things they were riding on. They're like
the brontosauruses or whatever.
No. Those bicycle things that they're sitting.
Oh,
on.
They were pedaling. Yeah.
Like they really made those
they probably did.
And then less footwork.
That was kind of cool.
But it was good. It was like good to see practical effects. Whole thing,
and then, what it did was when movies are made off of something that we're familiar with or whatever, the thing you love is that you can engage in it. You're already like right there with it, so you're like singing the song Flintstones, go through the whole thing, and it's like and you can say the whole thing. It's awesome. It's like jingles.
Yeah, they're so great. And we get this opening, and then we get the opening credits. It's not Universal, it's Universal.
I didn't even catch that.
We're already 2 puns in, and I can't deal.
This was a very punny movie.
All right.
I love this lady.
That's enough. That's enough from the two of you. You've been hanging around your daughter too long. This is. Come on, man.
Just had to.
And then,
I couldn't pass it up.
So then from there we get Barney and Fred.
You see, I'm not looking at my notes because I gotta be real. They were half-assed.
Okay,
but we get.
They're listening to the radio in the car.
Oh yes.
And while that is a point of contention for the time period, that's how the show worked.
Yeah,
they had TV, they had radio, all that stuff. It was weird. It was super weird.
How if you have no electricity?
It's so weird.
You don't even have plumbing yet. You just use it.
Hey, you're gonna have to also tell me how a brontosaurus is living side by side with a saber-toothed tiger. Like you have woolly mammoths and pterodactyls. None of those things coincided at the same period. Yeah. So I mean, whatever, bro. It's just it's a free for all on people who didn't know any better. Like
it works for the Flintstones universe.
The dinosaur is a dinosaur.
Right. It didn't matter when it was.
I'm not a scientist. I'm a cartoon maker.
Well, okay, so we were at. That's where I was on my notes of the bad guy. I said before I remembered the names, I was like bad guy and accomplice in parentheses Halle Berry planning to get a stooge for their plan.
Pretty much, they need a fall guy, but it's not clear. They just know that they need somebody, and I didn't know what they needed them for at first.
Yeah, it wasn't
because they're just
clear.
like one of these guys is gonna be real cool or some shit like that. Like I don't know. It's like
it's setting you up for it, but it's too big.
Like I said, vaguely sinister, but not overtly evil yet.
You're just like, okay, he needs somebody.
And then they cut to Fred and Barney driving home from work,
listening to a song from the. Not the B-52s, but the BC-52s.
Yeah.
Christ.
And he's talking about how much he's thanking him for, basically Fred, unbeknownst to his wife.
Don't do this, fellas. It'll get you fucked up.
just gets loaned him some money so they could
adopt a kid.
Why is that a common thing though? This is what dudes do.
But it's and you know what? It seems that way, but I think movies have made it seem way more common than it actually is because in my relationship,
no, I don't agree. I disagree.
It works the other way. No, it does happen, but I don't think it's like the most common thing.
Though the difference is most men are not like him and like, oh, don't tell her whatever. They'll be like, listen, mom, I'm a man. I do what I want to do.
And that's exactly how Fred acts. He's just like, I don't need to tell my wife.
Well, that's how he acts when she's not around. Because he does.
Like, thanks. Don't say that.
He was like, don't worry, Fred. Because Barney knows. He's like, I won't tell women. Oh, thank you. Oh, my God. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he does. And we get Dino.
Oh, yeah, when he gets home.
And he's the only
He's like, oh, I'm home. Like, you don't know Dino going to come.
Okay, well,
him and that CGI.
They were talking about helping out. Did he specify what it was?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, oh, okay.
He specified.
He wanted to adopt a child with Betty.
Because she's infertile, apparently. Or he's shooting blanks. Either
We're assuming. We don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, as I say, either or. They're both terrible.
No prehistoric fertility clinics back then.
You would just have to imagine that. Like, sadly enough, most of those people aren't making it. Either the baby's not, or the woman's not. Like, that's just there's nobody. They're dying during childbirth. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, but it's the Flintstones, and they have all these things, so it's fine. It's fine.
So he comes home.
We live in the
he
time.
Says, I'm home, and then Dino's like,
That's every episode.
And then that dang.
Which is really, I think they just ripped it right from, or maybe Frank Welker did it because he does voices. You know who Frank Welker is? Frank Welker. He's voiced Megatron, Fred from Scooby Doo.
Yeah,
he does animal noises, car noises. He is Frank Welker.
I've seen him before.
Frank Welker's a G. Yeah,
okay.
But he was old.
Shoot, did
I'm pretty sure.
When?
Because I know he was. Well, he was. Because
no,
I don't know. All I know is in that last Transformer, he was. Yeah, that's me. I know he's in that last Transformers movie as Megatron after they got rid of Hugo Weaving, but I don't know. I hope he's still alive.
Oh, damn, no, he is.
Fuck yeah, Frank Welker. That's what I'm talking about. Keep doing the damn thing.
Damn, he's still alive. Yeah, I just because he's been seeing like he's old. Around forever.
He's old.
76. I mean, that's like 70s and 60.
What? What? I don't know what that was.
We're in the time we're in. People live to like 90.
That's my point. I mean, look at Grand Dude.
Look at Grand Dude.
And he's in his 80s. And he's doing better than a lot of 60-year-olds. That's just real.
That's true.
So where are we at now? Okay,
So he comes home and they talk. Wilma, she's like,
she's playing coy.
Yeah, she's getting him comfortable, giving him a little massage, and she's like, what the hell's up with that money? That's not in the account no more.
Yeah, but she said, I went to go do something, and I didn't have enough money. Why is that, Fred?
No, she sets it up. She sets it up because she comes in. When he comes in, he's like, she starts talking about a garbage disposal.
Oh, right, she's like, right. Oh, she said, we need a new one. That's what it was, because he was like, garbage disposal is acting up. And she's like, we need a new one. He's like, no, we don't.
Well, he doesn't do the fixing part right away. He's like, nah, it's fine, and he goes to sit down, and then she gets him with the, I did, and that's when she's like, yeah, I went to the bank to go get something to get a new garbage disposal, and then he deflects. He's like, we don't need. That's when he's like, we don't need a new one. This one's fine. He just shoves it in that gross thing's mouth. The pig monster
gets a fork out,
and then it steals his watch. Yeah, it was. I mean, and once again. That pig is gross, but it's like good gross because it's a good looking like animatronic thingy-majig. It's gross.
And the way they parallel things that we use with things like that. I mean, that was great in the cartoon. It was just how they use that. It's like, remember that elephant used to be outside the window, for the water.
And that's what they had. They had the shower, and he was washing vegetables. Like this thing get double duty up in here. Like it's cool. Like I always enjoyed that part of it.
These animals, I guess, get paid like in food. And that pig's eating all the food that goes down.
Well, yeah, I mean, you get to eat the garbage disposal food.
That ain't not too bad. This is good life.
So yeah, then where are we? Oh yeah, then that's basically he's like, all right, you're right. I did it. I gave the money to Barney so they could adopt a kid. Yeah, yell at me, do what you want. Give the neighbor something to talk about.
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh, it's so noble of you. You're such a good person. And like that's the thing about the show was like throughout all his schemes and the way he seems like he just brushes people off.
Yes.
He does care about people.
Right. He is not literally trying to do something, that's harmful to anyone.
Or be selfish.
Yeah, he really is. It's not his overall. I mean, he is. He's always trying to get money. That's one thing.
But he's not like
rich.
He's not like, I'm not gonna do nothing about it. But in this movie it kind of seems different. But
that is, I will say, like one of my only things I don't like. We'll get to it. And I think this movie could have been condensed and some things should have been taken out to make it a more of a Flintstone story. Right. But we'll get to it. So then we get to the adoption agency hospital or whatever.
Seems like it.
And I don't really care for this scene at all. I'm gonna say something. I thought Pebbles was played by an Olsen twin forever.
And I was looking at her, I'm like, that's not
I
them.
did it first too back in the day.
She looked like them.
She did.
So here's the thing. This is what happened. I wanted to see.
Olsen-esque.
I wanted to see who does Bam Bam's voice. It's E.G. Daily does Bam Bam's voice, but it's not the kid. No, of course not. It's E.G. Daily doing.
I'm the one that does Tommy.
Yeah. E.G. Daily does the voice. While I was looking that up, Bam Bam is played by twins as well.
Well, they had to be. You know that, right?
No.
I mean, cartoon?
For like, is it like a child labor law thing?
Yeah. They have
I never knew about that. That's why I was like,
when you see, I don't know about today because they can do things so much faster, so it might not be the same. But back in the day, they had to use twins because they can only work so long by child labor laws.
Okay, because Pebbles is still played by twins. That's why I was like, oh, Olsen twins. They were doing everything around this time. Like, who fucking cares?
Olsen twins. But then I looked at it, I was like, that's
not enough. That's not an Olsen. Although, thanks to high definition, now I know it's not an Olsen twin.
Right.
But on that VHS, that was an Olsen twin. I don't care what nobody said.
I was so sure too until I saw it.
That was an Olsen twin for sure. Oh my god!
You know what's funny? I think about it. Right? Okay, so he had that VHS.
Yeah.
Like a couple of years after that came out, and I could tell you what things we had at that time. That we had Speed.
We had
that Winnie the Pooh joint. Remember
the Heffalump joint?
The Heffalump?
Yeah.
That thing scared me.
It was scary with the scary one with the little toy, the little monkey thing.
And Snow White.
That's scary too. Because Mike leave that on.
I'm like, so those were like the first key things we had in our library.
The first key thing we had was Ninja Turtles. What are you talking about? We always had that Ninja
Turtles. And the Rugrats movie. We had that.
Came a little.
No, that came later.
Oh, we had the Lion King too.
Yeah,
well, we got that later.
Was as it was coming, but I'm saying like in the beginning when he started.
Oh yeah,
that was like those
the
were
collection.
Like the
first,
that's why we saw Flintstones so many times.
Yeah,
because it was
there was a rotation. It was like Ninja Turtles, Flintstones, Heffalump.
Oh, and then Snow White at least once or twice a day.
That's just Maya.
That was Maya, and she'd be leaving on before we go to bed, and I'd be all scared. Freaking old.
That's a creepy. That's a scary movie, man.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, back to Flintstones.
Back to Flintstones. So then we get a Bam Bam montage of him being Bam Bam.
For they pick him up, he's all dirty and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, because she's like, he was raised by woolly mammoths, and they were like, oh okay, I guess.
So who did they pay? The woolly mammoths? I mean, like,
that's a good question.
Little human no more.
That's a good question.
So now they're like, no, you're gonna pay.
But
I wonder the same thing because like you're adopting. Where did you my only guess is somebody had to pry that kid away from woolly mammoths. Because how are you just raised by woolly mammoths?
We got to get that kid away from them woolly mammoths. We can make some money.
Exactly.
Somebody just grabbed him and ran.
Wow, man. Yeah, basically.
While they were asleep. We about to make some money off this kid.
I like the gag that he's like
black market before there's black market.
It was like, oh, Bam Bam. Was that short for something? Bam, bam, bam. I was like,
oh, yeah.
It's so funny. Like, I'm laughing because I think of Bam Bam and Pebbles because sorry. No,
talking to the mic.
When we think of Bam Bam and Pebbles, I think of Bam Bam as my son, and then Pebbles as Nene.
Wow, and I can take it one better. Now, with the original Pebbles and Bam Bam was Tracy and Keisha.
Oh, yeah.
Because literally, Tracy didn't talk like anything that sounded like English till he was literally like 3.
That's exactly how JJ is.
And then Keisha.
Damn, just giving my shit out there like that.
You know how Keisha talks all low? But she was like, I said they were, and that's what you could ask Granny about. I said, they are Pebbles and Bam Bam.
That's
and
fucking
like,
crazy.
You can understand how the dang thing.
And now look at him.
And the only one who knew what the hell he was talking about was Malcolm for some reason.
Translate.
And he'd be like really on there. He'd be like, yeah. And I'd be like, okay. And he'd be like, he wants some water. And then they give him water. He was like, yeah. I was like, oh shoot, he did want some water.
He was like, you idiots can't understand anything.
But then you go to school for like, I swear, not even a week. And he comes back talking like, well, like on Little Rascals.
Yeah.
How what's his name?
I've had a pretty extensive vocabulary.
He started talking like he'd been talking that way the whole time. I was like, this little.
It's a game. It's a game I'm
he
running.
He was playing a game. You've been able to talk the whole dang time.
That's what I think about my son.
Been able to do a lot of things.
My son is Bam Bam though, because he does like to break things.
Yeah, your son is definitely Bam Bam reincarnated.
Whoa.
All right. So yeah, we get this. Then we also the Bam Bam montage.
We do a montage of them cleaning him up and
him
then
breaking shit and being Bam Bam.
At the end, he's like, she's reading him a book and he kisses
she gives him
I feel like that too. Like, oh, my son loves me.
And that's because that's the thing. That's a character trait that they gave him just for the movie, that he's wild. Because in the show, he's just strong.
He's just strong. That's true.
He's not really like rambunctious or beat.
Well, I think what they were trying to do
was explain it.
Explain why, like,
he doesn't talk.
Yeah, like why he doesn't talk. And so they were trying to give context to him only saying
Bam Bam.
Bam Bam Bam,
Because in the show,
he did in the show, it was always Bam Bam. If he was doing something like taking somebody, Bam 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 Bam.
Yeah, he was just saying.
Yeah,
that's it.
And he came later too. He wasn't like in the first season or anything like that. He was like a second season, like where they were like,
that's what they were trying to get to the root of him being a new character.
It was post Pebbles. They had to have
Pebbles came first. Yeah, they were like,
basically.
They were like, the Rebels need a kid. We can't. They're not testing well.
How brilliant are they? Then they parlay that into a whole nother show.
Pebbles and Bam Bam.
Pebbles and Bam Bam. And teenagers.
Yeah, they were teenagers. The Pebbles and Bam Bam show. Yeah.
Oh, gosh, and it was successful. They had Bad Luck Slep Rock. Wowzy, woo, woo.
That's where Captain Caveman comes from, right? Yeah, Captain Caveman.
The deep.
That's kind of barbarian with no joke.
I'm telling you, genius, man and woman and man. I don't know what they are.
What's next? We get to bowling. Okay, I gotta think about this. Like,
no.
I was saying John Goodman. Does he like bowling?
Probably. He's a big fat guy from Chicago. I'm sure he likes bowling.
He bowled in the show, right? In the Flintstones show.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm like, he's
it was
bowling in
the Roseanne show. Did they ever talk about
true.
bowling then? I don't know. I don't know that they did. But I mean,
I'm sure.
Let me tell you, bowling is a very Midwest thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, we bowl. Bowling is.
Do you ever see the Big Lebowski?
Like that's what I'm
saying.
That's what I'm saying. Do you ever see the Big Lebowski?
Yeah.
Like all those characters are like Midwestern and stuff like that.
That's like a thing we did. I'm telling you, bowling and skating. That's what we did.
That's why I'm like, does John Goodman just love bowling? Is that his thing?
Well, no. I mean, Fred Flintstone loved bowling.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's what that comes from.
True.
And that's the toes thing was part of the gig. All that. Well, all that was in there.
True.
They got that on HBO Max. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go watch. No, the Flintstones. I want to go watch it over.
Oh, okay.
I want to watch it when Dino could talk. It was weird.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Like first season.
Scholar?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
In like the first season, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm Dino, and I can talk like
John
this."
John Goodman is from Missouri, so he's
he's a Midwest dude. Yeah, I knew he was from one of those places.
It's so funny because when they're bowling or whatever, this is like they're in a league, and so
clearly,
Barney's right there, and he's like, "Oh, you sure you can, do this, whatever, something like that," and he's like. Is the earth flat?
I know, that was funny. That got me too. And I'm just like, oh, these jokes, they're so good.
That's so
but it's always
that's pre-Columbus.
Because it's things that's like obvious, right? Like because Ninja Turtles does that too. When he was like, is Schwarzenegger hard to spell? But then you remember he was asking Donatello, who could probably spell Schwarzenegger. He was like, yeah, let me help you. Like I love when they do stuff. Is the earth flat? He's like. We're still not sure, but yeah, okay.
That gave me a pretty good chuckle.
It was fun. Pre-Columbus.
Not like today's flat earth.
This is pre-everything. So yeah, Barney does his toast. It's corny as shit. But he does vow to pay him back some way. Somehow.
Damn, tripping. He's been married to the same woman since 1989.
Who, John Goodman?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Who's married to again?
Nobody
John
important.
Goodman is Fred Flintstone.
No, I said who's married to.
Not an actress.
I mean, it doesn't I was like, were you waiting for somebody famous to pop
I
up?
don't know. It's just usually.
I used to think he was actually
Usually
married to
those
Roseanne.
long marriages like that is typically not people who are celebrities.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he goes back home and enter Elizabeth Taylor.
Well, he gets knocked out by Dino.
Yeah, she plays the
He
mother-in-law.
gets knocked out by Dino, and she wakes him up or whatever.
Oh yeah, she hates him.
Yeah,
And,
which is a gag.
Yeah, and back in those days, shows
All did that.
Always
That mother-in-law.
Bewitched, you know, like,
Her mother tried to kill that guy.
And she would never say his like. She's like your grandmother. Like she knew his name, but she would call him. His name was Darren. She called him Durwood.
Yeah,
just anything.
But then you got to remember that she's also a witch, and she tries to kill this man all the time. Like it's pretty fucked up. Like when you go back and think about it, you're like, it's funny. They're funny gags. But she tried to
do stuff to try to get Samantha away from him.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
She was
it was pretty bad. She was terrible. I hate that show.
It was funny.
Well, Elizabeth
on him all the time.
Taylor, and I love seeing Elizabeth Taylor on screen because honestly, if you ever seen what's that movie called, The Shrew, The Taming of the Shrew, she plays a good bitch.
I have never heard of this movie in my life.
Watch the movie.
She played another good bitch in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Really?
You got to see that.
I have not seen that either.
Stuff right there.
That sounds like a book they tried to make us read or something.
Probably.
I don't know.
But the movie, woo.
I like Elizabeth Taylor.
I do.
Yeah.
I like Elizabeth Taylor.
Well, I liked.
I mean, after a while, yeah. She's no longer here.
But
so yeah,
she don't like him, and she's telling Wilma like, you don't need him.
Well, yeah, because all this sets up, like this is the setup for the plot of the movie. Because she calls him a nobody, and he's like, I'm gonna be a somebody, and you shut your stupid whore mouth, and like he's he believes it. And that's the thing, he just doesn't know how he's gonna do it. He wants to give Wilma everything, like any man does, and all that stuff. But she wants him to marry the guy who invented the wheel. Fuck out of here!
No.
Like you're telling me that happened a couple of years ago,
and all of a sudden you got wheels everywhere.
That's funny, but yeah. So she's typical, mother-in-law. You could have married a doctor, like all that shit. Like
always.
So. Then I don't know where this scene comes in, but it's like it's Betty basically thanking Wilma for what they did, but they're talking shit about Fred the whole time. Because because this is when we find out that the aptitude test is coming. It's a very small part of they do it real quick, but she's like they're talking about it and they're like. She was like, Betty's like, you never know. Fred could surprise you. And he was like, I'd be surprised if Fred got his name on the test or some shit like that. I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Crap, or are they just
no, I'm sorry. Truth? My wife better never just downplay me like that in front of, I don't care.
Well, okay, let's be honest here. Okay, so if she knew you didn't have the knowledge to pass a certain kind of test.
You still say that, yeah, he could surprise me. You got to do it. I'm sorry. That's fucked up.
No.
I mean, I believe
it's
people.
Not about no. But I get what he's saying.
You're not talking to. She's not talking to Fred. She's talking to Betty, which means she is essentially just like downplaying who he is, and they both get in on it. They don't talk about Barney that way at all, but they are on Fred, and it is fucked up.
Because obviously,
it's fucked up.
Barney's a wee bit smarter. Just
I
not
would
as
never
strong.
like. Here's the thing, because even if there was something that my wife couldn't do, I wouldn't talk about it that way to my friends.
True.
I wouldn't be like, he would have been like, oh yeah, your wife can't do that. I'm like, you're damn right, she's an it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that. That's fucked up. It's fucked up. Wilma, you're fucked up for that.
By the way, I had just realized it's played by what's her name? She was in Weeds.
Elizabeth Perkins.
Oh, that's her name.
Yeah. So 2 Elizabeths.
I like her.
That's
Elizabeth, that. Oh, Elizabeth Taylor and Elizabeth Perkins.
We've met our quota. There can't be any more Elizabeths in this movie.
Not in one movie.
That's too many Elizabeths.
All right, so we're moving on.
It's a mouthful. Elizabeth.
That's why a lot of them go by Liz.
Or Beth.
Or yeah.
Which is weird.
I like Liz better.
Liz.
Moving on. We get to when they clock into work. And
well, they don't even clock in. They're doing this test on their day off.
Really? I thought they
It's
clocked
a
in.
Saturday.
They clocked in.
No, he goes. They probably did because they're gonna get paid.
Yeah.
But he says,
At least by
because he
today's
does say, he's like, this Saturday we're gonna take an aptitude test, which I'm assuming they're still getting their weekends off. You know,
They get paid for this.
it's a regular. It's it's a job.
Although this is prehistoric times and they didn't have weekends off until after the Ford company came along and wanted people to have the weekend to shop for
Well,
cars.
they only had Sunday.
No, you hear at the beginning.
You've been watching. You've been watching a little Adam Ruins Everything, haven't you?
No, you watched the guy who's like the
supervisor.
Oh,
yeah, he did.
You had
Get back to work. You had.
days ago.
He said you had a break 2 days ago.
Yeah, you had a break 2 days ago.
That is funny. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, before labor laws.
Before labor laws.
No.
But yeah, so we get to this aptitude test, and I don't understand what an aptitude test is. So
aptitude test is literally testing your ability to understand certain things.
So all of so everything on this
so
would
like
have been.
They want to know if you have the aptitude to do a certain thing. They'll give you a test with so many questions to determine.
So that's what I'm saying. So everything on this test would have been related to like corporate business and stuff, which is weird when we get to it. But there's a part in here that just doesn't make any sense. Right. So we get to it. They do this aptitude test. It's very clear that Fred is struggling, and Barney sees him. And then when he was like, "Hey, I'll take your test for you," and he does, and he looks at it. He's like, "Ooh, yeesh." Like, if you could just look at a thing and be like, and that's bad, that's pretty bad.
Well, because he's running out of time, like that little hourglass.
That's a dope ass looking hourglass, though. I want it.
It was huge.
I want it. So I don't know where I would.
Prop room somewhere.
Oh, you know it is. I want it. I fucking want it.
So they only had so much time or whatever. And you see, like, when it's close to time's up or whatever, Fred, he's like,
yeah, he just starts chiseling real quick.
Just put anything.
You know what? When I used to do that, I used to do the blood code for Mortal Kombat, which is ABACABB. So I would just do that all the way down if I was running low on time.
I do that. I'm just like, wow.
My odds are fine. I mean,
if it works, it works. You know,
it's like you didn't understand the concept. Eliminate.
No, if I ran out of time, I'd just be like, or if I felt like the test wasn't important.
Well, yeah.
You're like ABBBBCC.
I'd be like, I was like, I'm not going to spend my time reading and doing all of this shit. This is not going to count.
Be more C's, no
Not
matter
that
what.
bad.
You do. You have
something about that. It's something about C's. It's true.
That means I have more B's.
I go to C every time. Like I'm unsure. I'm like,
well, that's what they tell you too. Like they'll tell you, like when we used to do the standardized test. They'll be like, if you don't know, C is your best choice. I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like there's no like science to back that up.
I don't think so.
There's no rhyme or reason. It's just like, it's a good odd.
So we get the thought bubble from Barney, where he remembers himself saying, "I'll pay you back someday."
Oh yeah,
somehow, and he was like, "Today's that day." It wouldn't have been that day for me. I can tell you that much.
Well, he didn't know.
I get that
what was going to happen,
but
because he wouldn't have done it.
But there's things like I pride myself on being the best, so I'm not going to intentionally get the worst.
Okay, so you realize you are definitely an extreme.
That's why I said I wouldn't have done it.
Think about it. Like Fred's extra prideful, and Barney's kind of the opposite. He's not prideful at all, and he's just like,
even in the show, he was kind of like a humble idiot.
Yeah. He's like, I'll take that loss. You know, I love my friend Fred.
Yeah,
and he did that. He's like, you know what?
You know what? I think about that. That's a dynamic that you don't, see portrayed in a certain way nowadays, because in a way they make that person as a punk. But you didn't,
except for Power Rangers.
But no, what I'm saying is,
except for Power Rangers.
When you saw that, you didn't see that like that. It was like, oh, he's a loyal friend.
Yeah.
He really loves his friend, and that's, you know what I mean. But nowadays, it'd be like, oh, you shoot, make me know.
Yeah, I get it. He switches the test. I wouldn't have done it. And then they find out that same day the results. Which is weird. I feel like it should have. Yeah, it was literally they were still there.
It's not like they had some electronic way of.
Yeah, they were. It was literally the same day. They were already there, and he was about to say it, and he's like, "Come on, Barney, let's get the fuck up out of here."
That or nothing. Like they should have held the top 3 and then did interviews.
And then we get the first yabba dabba doing this joint, and it's really good.
He gets afraid. They tell him he got the job, and he goes yabba dabba and kicks his feet and everything, and then he
yabba dabba do. Just coming up with that is a genius thing.
Like, who came up with that?
He needs a catchphrase.
It works. It worked.
But we can't use "pow" right in the kisser, so
And then,
"To the Moon" was taken.
but you know what's funny? That's a distinct difference between the
heck was
honeymooners.
that?
The honeymooners. What?
The noise. What was
You did make
What?
a noise.
What I did?
You're
Make
like,
a noise?
what was that?
Wow.
It was
Oh
weird.
no, I was trying to do something.
Yeah,
No, but there was like, I realized back then, you got to think about it. It was the early 60s, so they like, oh, you can't say "pow" right in the kisser or "to the moon."
especially not in the
Not
cartoon.
to your wife, so they changed something, but they didn't
Because the 50s were over.
Yeah, pretty much. They're like, that's not gonna look good. It's like,
We can't do
because
it.
They know what that means. Power, because he's talking about socking his wife to the moon.
And then it's funny because even in there, like Fred would do it every once in a while where he would say "one of these days," but he would never finish.
Yeah.
He would never finish. He would just say "one of these days" or "I ought," or just grumble to himself.
Yeah, why I oughta.
But he would
It wasn't back when it was okay to hit a broad.
No, yeah, it was literally like the year after
Just
it was.
past that,
It was the year after it was okay to hit a broad. So it was so stupid. That's why I was like, yo, you just think about it. Captain America would have been beating the shit out of women because he's from those times.
Like, I know, he was way too
Ahead of his time. He was ahead.
No
he was
one's that
ahead of
good.
it.
No one's that good.
He was
I'm
ahead of
sorry.
his
No
time.
one's that good. He would have been like, why I slapping his shit. What's his name? Agent Carter would have been slapped around a couple of times. Only she could have been able to hold her own, but he would have slapped her around.
Should have punched the mess out of him.
He's like,
She's like, really?
where's my shield? A smack. Fucking crazy.
But I did.
Why are we talking about
Well,
this?
I was going to continue. But
Because back in when it was okay. to rock.
back to.
No, did you
the
notice?
Flintstones.
Did you notice the
Sorry,
newspaper?
I gotta be back.
All right. Did you know?
Newspaper.
Yeah. Did you notice the newspaper? After he wins the aptitude, apparently it's Bedrock News. His cartoon picture is the picture they use on the for the newspaper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I like that.
No, I like that. That's cool because they made it like in the prehistoric days they didn't have like detailed art. Like I mean, from what we know, they didn't have detailed art like that in those days. So
They have cave paintings,
Yeah, and that worked.
which is
though, that they
basically
had
just
cartoons.
boobs on a stick figure.
I think about that. They draw like that too. They try to make it like look like everybody was the same.
Nah, this is boobs on a stick figure. Yeah, so we get to the first day.
Oh yeah.
And he's not doing anything. He's just like, oh, hey, you ready
It
for
makes
your...
me think. Was his only job was to like?
Well, he's a patsy. He's a fall guy, so yeah.
So he just sit there.
He
and
didn't even
look
know what he
pretty
did.
I know he was just sitting there talking to them. So they just show him around the office.
But it is. They show him around the office. We get Sharon Stone again. This is the best Halle Berry has ever looked. I'm sorry.
Honestly, she looks really good.
Yeah, she looks great.
She looks really
I
good.
think
like,
it might just be like the prehistoric clothing and stuff. But she looks really good. I'm a fan.
It fit her a lot.
I'm a super fan, and of course, I mean she's fine. And this was like at the height of the Halle Berry, you know, when everyone was just like, yeah,
it worked.
She was the it chick. It probably got her way more roles than just for being fine.
Yeah.
So then we get to the part where, you know, she's introduced to Fred, and she's clearly doing like innuendos and double entendre.
She's not even trying to be low key about it. She's just like, I can help you with anything. Puts her leg up on his leg.
She tells him, feel free to use me any way you like.
Thinking like, you little
and
hoe,
I would have been,
okay?
I'm sorry. I don't know. Look. Gonna have to take her up on that offer, man. I don't know.
I'll ask you eventually.
Yeah. Sure. I think I just got to divorce to finalize real quick. I'm willing to risk it all. Like,
but I love how he's like talking to her. He's like, okay.
Sorry,
I think
not to be like Malcolm.
I wouldn't
mother like son.
At least you didn't start cooking.
When I think of Fred, I think of a really prideful guy, you know, but I don't think of a guy who would cheat on his wife. I think he's toying with the idea, like,
but that's
she
the thing, like,
mess with me.
but that's like that's an old cartoon TV thing where it's
for
like,
sure.
oh,
It's always
hot chick, just it makes
and it's always
it just makes men idiots.
Why? Because they're accessible.
Well, also, I think that's a fantasy that a lot of people have.
Well, no, because I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's like
it
it used to be that thing. Oh, you're gonna leave me for the secretary. I was like, well, yeah, because I see her more than I see you. I'm at work
every day at work.
Yeah, it's like you're at work more than you're at home.
Work day. I mean, in reality, you see the people at work dang near more then you see your own family.
For the most part, yeah.
Dressing like that was.
That's why
guess
I remember
was
that episode of King of Queens, the whole work wife, work husband.
Oh yeah.
I tell you what,
I'm
Kiana,
sorry.
Nice.
I just knocked her.
Kiana, if you listening, there better not be no work husbands.
And then she told him it's her co-worker. She's like, "Oh, this is a joke. That's her work husband."
That doesn't make it better.
He's like,
gay.
work husband.
I don't.
Well, in that case, yeah,
that's what it was in the King of Queens. He was gay.
Anyway, yeah, he's at his first day. Sharon Stone is doing the overt seduction,
right?
And
really, she's just doing that to be part of the whole.
Well, make sure he
situation
does what he needs to do and what they want him to do.
Yeah. She's still with Cliff at that
and
point.
he's all dumb, so it doesn't even matter if she's sexually.
Which has always been a weird thing to me because like there's always like in stuff like where there's like especially in like business dramas where it's like, oh, the evil business guy, he's always sending his girl to go have sex with somebody.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird. Like,
that's the whole thing.
Guess what? Sex sells.
It does.
In one way or another.
And I mean, I was a kid, but Halle Berry was looking great in this movie, man. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, she's good.
Hey, let me tell you something. I gotta say this. I think I told you this story, but I gotta say it now. I gotta say it for the whole world. Tracy was that kid. Like, he was scary in the way. It's funny because it didn't really end up being him, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
But Tracy, when he was younger, like, he was like, first of all, he had a thing for like stockinged legs.
Just all my business on this episode.
I gotta tell it. Okay, so when my grandmother passed away, we were in the family car or whatever, and he was between my auntie Malcolm, my cousin Malcolm, his mom, and her sister, and he was like this. You know how he used to suck his tongue? He was rubbing their legs like this, going. And then wait, I remember this thing so clearly. One day, because I was tripping, you know me, you know how I am, and it was a commercial that came on prime time, and at this time they were showing, and this wasn't happening then. This is the early '90s. Whole full-on woman with bra and panties. They was advertising bra, some panties. I think Hanes or something. But that was like on prime time, and he was like, he saw the commercial, and he was like, woohoo! I was like, man, like, why are they showing these kind of commercials during prime time?
So yeah, Halle Berry, super hot stuff.
Super hot stuff.
Yeah. Super hot stuff.
Super hot stuff.
She looked good.
Yeah, your daddy used to be a fan too.
Who wasn't?
And
she's
she
not the
looks
greatest
good now,
actress
too.
in the world, but she looks good.
She's not at all. But she was, you know, she's that.
This might be my favorite role.
That's bad.
That I can think of.
Did you watch the movie, the new one?
What movie?
The Netflix.
Oh no.
The boxing movie.
We're gonna see that.
I want to see that.
We're gonna see that.
No, I haven't seen it.
But yeah, Halle
I don't
Berry,
know. I haven't seen it, but I heard
stuff.
it was good.
Halle Berry, she will.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, she's shit.
She was good looking. No, I was looking back. I mean, I was looking at her. I was just like, I could see the appeal. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So she basically after this bullshit seduction, we meet the Dick the Bird. Who cares? It comes in later, but it's really annoying. And
it's not necessarily necessary.
No, it comes in later.
But he is necessary.
He is
because
necessary.
it's building up.
Well, yeah,
he's just annoying.
He's not necessarily.
Oh, yeah, he's just annoying.
Like to be a continuous.
He's a smart ass.
Basically, apparently, he's got a mind like a steel trap and can remember it. He's a memo pad. He's essentially
supposed to.
an
He's like
over glorified memo pad.
Okay, so the way the spoof on that is back in the day, you know, especially back in the 50s, 60s, or what that's what they did. They recorded stuff, you know, and dictation. That was first. People actually wrote notes, and there was actually a language.
You guys were boring back in the day.
That people had to learn to be a dictator. Not a dictator. Not a dictator.
Y'all some dictators back in the day.
That's all I have to do.
No, they had to do dictation. Secretaries had to do dictation.
You got to go to class for
if
dictatorship.
it was a word, it would be a symbol. That's how they did that. So it's like they did shorthand notes. Yeah, that was a real thing.
I swear, before technology, like I can't imagine what like.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, I like the first.
Can you imagine? You can't.
The first
No,
thing I
I
remember
can't.
in technology
Well, I mean, I can.
being
It's just
But I
like
can't.
typing on a fucking
sorry. I thought pages
on a
was so-
typewriter. I'm saying it because you know how
I
you
want
make
a
a mistake
typewriter,
now.
though. I thought
And you
pages
can
was
look.
so cool.
You know how you got a key like delete.
Yeah,
that didn't exist.
They'd have to
Yeah, you have to go and you do a thing or before you put a little white out and then you gotta dry it out.
Then you gotta send the
and
thing
then go
back.
back. Then they did get a button on there so you can do that. So it would you have to go, but you have to make sure it's lined up right. So it would you click it and it takes.
I feel like only a pretentious asshole types on a typewriter now. Like a dude who's like, I'm working on my novel. Like, fuck out of here, dude.
If I was working on a novel, I would definitely use a typewriter.
Hell no, I'm using this bad boy.
First of all, you can never type as fast.
Never.
But I would sit in the Starbucks.
I would have so many mistakes.
I would sit in the Starbucks.
Oh yeah, because you're not a real writer unless you're writing in a Starbucks. That's true. Yeah, that's a fact.
Just so people be like, wow, they're really writing something really good.
I'd have been like, dude, your typewriter's really fucking loud. Shut up.
I know, because before, even electric typewriter was like, but the regular ones was like, tut, 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 tut.
That's that Murder, She Wrote typewriter.
Imagine hearing that all day.
Or what's his name? Steven, whatever, the TV guy at the end of every show, and it would be like a typing thing. Stephen Cannell, he did a lot of the TV shows.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know how at the end they do the producer?
I don't know what you're talking about.
She's a little.
You and Trisha knows. He's just trying to be a trick.
I literally don't know what you're talking about.
I really don't either.
Anyway, so yeah, his first day on his job, Sharon Stone goes and lets Cliff know, I don't know if he's going to be as pliable as you think. He's got a good heart. And he was like, well, you're just not applying the right pressure. And he goes in there. He was like, we'll apply some pressure. And this is when he tells him.
Did she say he's not as stupid?
Not yet. Because there's another part. But he basically, because he's just Jonathan
he motivates
I kind of did nod out a little bit.
She did.
That's why I watched it this morning.
Yeah, she wanted to wait till 8 o'clock to watch it.
But yeah.
It was after 8 o'clock. It was closer to 9.
Basically, yeah, he goes in and he's just like, hey, you enjoying everything? It's great, right? I need you to fire Barney Rubble. And he was like, why?
No, that was before he told him. He was just, oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah, it is right here. Yeah, he tells him. This is first day on the job and he has to fire Barney.
He did.
And he's like, why? He was like, well, you got the lowest score. We can't have these idiots running around. And that's why I think it's stupid, though. That's what I was talking about. Terrible. Because it's one thing to be like, if that aptitude test applied to everything else.
Right.
Because he can still move the rocks.
Exactly.
The fuck are you firing this guy for? It's so stupid.
Yeah, but they had to have that.
Yeah, it was just dumb. That's why I asked you what an aptitude test was.
That was the antagonism.
It's not an IQ test.
But I think I think this is close to real life. Testing somebody's loyalty.
Well, that was that point. I got
him knowing that's his friend.
No, I got that part. Yeah. I don't think he knew he was friend.
I think he did.
I don't think he knew.
I don't think he.
Well, no.
Well, maybe he didn't because he got the lowest score.
Yeah, that's why. I don't think he knew.
I think it wasn't literally.
I think it was just. I think it's just one of those things like dudes who work in places like that are always bonded. So a lot of those dudes are really close. Like people who work at construction and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they're close. So firing anybody was supposed to be a hard decision for a guy who just came from there.
Yeah, it just came from there. Yeah.
So that's the point. But I don't think it was
because earlier he was saying, "I'm not going to forget where I came from." And stuff like
well,
that.
I mean, technically he
but
didn't.
You know what? And this is again, in real life, this is a thing that you think most people think like that. Like, oh, nothing's gonna change me.
You don't know that.
Whatever. Yeah, you really don't know.
You don't know.
I mean, at the end of the day, you have no idea.
Well, I'm a change.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you give me.
I'm a change a little bit.
I might change a little bit.
Yeah, you already did that. You said it, and you said it happened. Remember?
Oh, I did. I said things are gonna change when I start working.
She's like, when I start working, and things are gonna change.
They changed.
She did
for the better.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Anyway, so yeah, he tells him that or whatever. Oh, and he was telling him that he didn't even know what it meant, but he said he was telling him, "You're going to be the vice president of industrial procurements." And he was yelling it out. Nobody knows what it means. They was yelling.
They're just happy for him.
He's like, "I'm the vice president of industrial procurements," and they're like, "Yeah!"
I still don't know what that is.
Okay, procurement.
I got that. I get it, but
I know it's bullshit.
It's a bullshit title.
It's a way. It's like saying I am a maintenance what is it? What's the word? I am a maintenance
Don't just be saying stuff.
Maintenance manager. You know, oh, so you're a janitor. You know,
so you're the supervisor of all janitors.
A maintenance technician.
You're the super janitor.
And what happens is they drive home from work, him and Barney,
manager.
and they get they get to Fred's house or whatever, and it's a surprise party, you know, to celebrate him getting the job and stuff like that.
Man,
and
I hate surprise parties.
I don't like them either.
Because think about it. It's like you are basically hoping that everything goes right if you're the people playing the surprise party. Right. Fred just had probably the worst day of his best first day. Like, he's not in the right space for this. Oh, you know what I mean? Barney, so it's like, for you, the surpriser, you're like, yeah, this is going to be great. He's going to love it. But you don't know that. You don't know that.
This was a crazy situation because, like, who would have thought?
It's not even just that. There's so many different variables that could happen. Like, imagine you come in, this dude, maybe he's like a paranoid, right? And you surprise this nigga, and now, pop, 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 everybody gets shot.
There was a video like that on the internet. And they were like, surprise, and he was like, oh.
I did. I saw that video where the dude he was about to pull the gun out. I did see that video. See, that's what I'm saying, though.
Well, but you do have to know the person well enough.
But I assume that they knew this guy well enough.
What I'm saying overall, no. But they still thought, no. They knew him, but yet thought, because if I know that somebody I know real well,
you just asked me why.
Don't catch somebody off guard like that.
I'm not going. I know somebody, like, if I know somebody and I know they don't like surprises. They really don't like them. Or they might react
scary.
Or they might react off.
I would. I have a physical reaction to being startled.
Or what if somebody like has straight up heart attack? Surprise!
Yeah, like me. I mean, like she just you know.
Did you not balance that on your leg?
She's trying to
the cup. I just feel like you can drop it.
She's trying to catch up to my scares, which will never happen.
It worked.
But now she's using it, and it's like she's scaring the crap out of me.
Anyway, the point was, this surprise party is stupid, and now it's at the worst possible time.
It put him in an awkward position because Barney over here giving him
not even just that. His mother-in-law's a schmoozer now. She's also the only one who wears sleeves in this entire thing.
Well, she's supposed to be the one that's, fashion.
She's the only one who wears sleeves. She's the only one. Yeah, she's the only one in sleeves. Who the fuck does she think she is?
She thinks very highly of herself. She probably requested it herself.
Yeah.
She probably did.
Yeah. That's like Samuel Jackson requesting that purple lightsaber. I could dig it. He's like, I'm not about to be like all these other assholes. You gonna give me a purple lightsaber and we're gonna be cool about it.
Okay.
I'm Samuel Jackson, goddammit.
He can do that.
You want me to not say motherfucker in this movie? You give me that purple lightsaber. But, yeah.
So it gets like
it is very awkward
because she's coming up. His mom-in-law's coming up.
I punch her in the face,
and she's just like, acting like and it's so funny.
And he's like, okay, if you don't back up off me,
because this is some real stuff.
She's a schmoozer.
I've experienced.
She's gold digging by proxy of her daughter.
Yeah.
So I mean.
But this is a real thing
on him.
This is a real thing.
It's a very real thing.
You may not think that's real for people to switch up. When
there's lots of people who.
But it's so true.
I guarantee you right now that if Mom won $16 million, guess who's gonna come around being real cool?
Oh, look at you! Oh my God! Yeah. So that's how she was acting.
People schmooze.
I knew she was loving you. She was. I mean, she was loving Fred.
I'm just saying, it's real. At least my mother-in-law loves me.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
That's a good thing.
Not everybody has that.
I don't love her though. I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh, you better. I love her.
But she was pretty much, she's all doting on him. Oh, look at my son.
That kind of.
And he's all acting like, okay, whatever. He doesn't even.
Yeah, I would have punched her. She deserves it.
But he's like, whatever.
And in the cartoon, she's like a big, heavy woman, so I really would have punched her.
Oh, she is. She's like,
she's
a robust woman.
You could have punched her because she beats on him all the time in the cartoon. Yeah, it's terrible. I'd have beat the shit. So
she is. She's like a big.
So he could have. We could have got
a deep voice. Everything. Yeah. She's like a big robust.
We could have pow right in the kisser her. It would have been fine.
So anyway, what makes this situation so awkward about the surprise party is Barney handing over the gift in front of everybody. He's like,
I hate that too.
This gift. And he's like, I can't take this.
But see, I feel like what he should have done was
just
take it
and then say
and then
something
talk
later.
to him later. But obviously it's a movie and it has to be awkward.
You gotta.
But it's super awkward because he's like, I can't take this. He was like, no, we insist. He was like, nah, I really can't. He was like, oh, you don't like it? He's like, no, it's fine. It's the color. No, it's fine. He was like, you can't afford it. Oh, come on. Of course we can afford it. He was like, nah, you can't. You're fired. And I was like,
I know the way he said it and everything. Like, I mean,
I felt that
I guess
though.
it had to be that way.
But I felt it and it hurt.
Yeah.
He was like, you can't, bot.
Yeah, he should have done
You're
that.
fired. Oh God, I gotta get out of here.
I mean, I get anybody who doesn't really know the situation, what he's going through, was probably like, "What's his problem?
What an
Why did you fire
asshole!"
him?"
Yeah,
Like,
but it didn't. But once again, then it just sets up more stuff later because like, and then well, you might be onto something, Mom, about them knowing that Barney was his best friend.
Yeah.
Because when he fires, when all the other people get fired, then it's like, oh yeah, he would fire his best friend. Of course he would do that. It's easy, believable.
Right.
Like yeah, so you might be onto something.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Because when he presented about the other people, he's like, you're just going to give him a long-needed vacation.
Yeah.
And then
that
he's
was
like,
later
oh.
on. That was later on.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. But I mean, then we have this meeting where they're talking about putting everyone out of business anyway by this conveyor belt.
Mr. Slate.
Right.
You know,
Mr. Slate.
He's the owner of the company or whatever. And he's going over everything. And that's when Cliff presents. He's got this whole thing that comes out. It's so funny.
Which is all
he gets
bullshit.
scared.
It's
He's
so
like,
weird.
He's like, oh shit.
I love this part because he's explaining it, and then he was like, "The steam pipe goes steam. He's a madman." And this nigga was like, "Did you ever interrupt me again? I will choke you, old man." But the way he said it was steam powered conveyor belt. He's like, "I will beat this old man."
Well, he's proposing a plan that
But
would
they
pretty much put everybody who's a worker out of business.
Yeah, that's what he says. Well, Fred asks later. He doesn't ask there.
Right, but it's later on.
He's so dumb. He was just like, these are too small.
He was like, yeah, first off, how are people going to live if you're making houses this tiny? And then it reminds me of that Zoolander shit. How are they going to learn to read if they can't even fit in the building? It's so fucking stupid.
That was just on the other day.
So yeah, and then we get to Betty and Wilma. They're shopping.
Oh yeah.
And then we get the famous charge it.
Oh, yes.
I loved it. I loved it because it just sounded like it came right out of the cartoon.
Yes.
And then so that like they really because Betty was gonna get her a dress or something.
No, Wilma was gonna get her dress.
Oh,
Wilma was gonna get a dress.
What was Betty? Because Betty was gonna get something. They go to the
she was just with her.
No, but they went to go pay something, and he's like,
this is what they were paying for because Bam Bam saw some lady's fur coat with a face on it, and apparently only stopped in the China section to destroy it. So, so she was paying for the damages. And that's when you get the
denied.
He didn't deny. He broke it.
He broke it.
It's no damn good.
That's
So
what
fucking
he
dumb.
did.
And then that's when she's like, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed, and I'm sorry that you have to pay for that. We'll pay you back. I just don't know when." And yeah, she's just like, she's telling them her sob story. Like, yes, Barney doesn't have any. Barney still can't find work. We've gone through our savings. We don't have a place to live. And then that's when Wilma's like, without consulting her husband, another thing you shouldn't do. She's just like, "Oh, you just come stay with us. No big deal."
That's their neighbors and their
That's
best
fine,
friends.
but it still is a conversation to be had. I don't like.
Definitely.
I'm
They
sure.
don't have cell phones, so
Yeah, but
she can't just.
I mean,
I get it, but I'm saying she's like, oh my gosh,
no,
it's our best friend. I know Fred is gonna be okay.
no. We gave
What
Fred
did you talk
shit
to
for
him
that
about
shit
it?
earlier, so we got to
But
give
that was
Will.
different.
That was different. That was
And she
coming out of
but not even that. But she was okay after she realized it. She was like, "That was a really good thing to do."
Yeah, all I'm saying is we still gave him shit.
But what I'm saying is he already did a thing for them. So this is the more important because their survival is at stake. So come on, she knew he was going.
I'm gonna be honest. They'll be fine.
Whatever. It would have happened no matter what. Well,
I also think, and this is crazy because I think it's the same like an I Love Lucy situation that no one's talking about. I think they're swingers.
Okay.
Oh my!
Let's move on.
I think it's a swinger situation.
I like that. I mean, it was something so small, but I like that they added this. You know, when they're out in it looked like a park in the middle of the whole shopping center.
Do you see what the park was? It's Jurassic Park,
Oh,
which is also a movie that Steven Spielberg did.
Spielberg.
Oh my God. The stupidest gag throughout this whole scene, though, is the flight attendant. And if you look to your left, you'll see the Grand Canyon in 15 million years. I was like, oh, fuck out of here.
That one bothered me.
I was like, that's
you can't
stupid.
See the future.
That's stupid. Yeah, that's stupid.
You are in the prehistoric ages.
That's okay.
No.
I let it slide.
I'll give it a slide.
I'm not letting it slide. It's stupid. It's stupid even for prehistoric stuff. It's dumb. It's dumb.
No, it's just because it's a movie.
It's dumb.
And just say that. I like it.
It's dumb.
But I like that when they're in the park, all of a sudden, like
dumb.
a pterodactyl comes out of nowhere, and they're like, running and stuff like that, and he just poops somewhere. Like, and it's like a big crap.
Yeah, because it was. You're right. It's a 100% unnecessary scene, only to break up the sad scene you just saw. So that's what I think. I think you're watching Wilma and Betty hug it out because Betty is telling the saddest American Idol story I've ever seen, and you need this pterodactyl to come and shit on something.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny you said that. Because you know your dad, Mr. Flicker. Anyway, we're watching, and then he starts coming. He comes up on American Idol, the newest one.
Still on?
And they're still doing. Yeah, we remember. Well, no, back on.
It was canceled.
It was canceled, and then they came back.
It was canceled, and then a year later it came back.
Yeah. But now they're still doing those stories.
So I hate. That's my least favorite part of all.
I
This.
think it was good back in the day, but now it's like expected. It's like
everybody has a sad story.
Everybody on there got it. So in other words, you could be the great singer, but if you like had a great life, you're not gonna get a.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry. He was like, yeah, you know, my dad is very successful. My mom's very successful. We had a great life. I just want to be a singer.
Somebody said,
no, I'm sorry.
Good singer. They're just like, yeah, I grew up poor. You're going to Hollywood.
He's like, cause you just don't know how tough it was for me.
It be people you know. Yeah, what's his name? William. It wasn't the sad one, but it was just the whole thing. William Hung should have never got to where he got.
Did he?
He was eliminated. No, he didn't. He didn't.
No, he didn't.
Oh, that's right.
He was so bad that people thought it was entertaining, and they just milked the shit out of it.
That's true.
You know who I never cared much for? Honestly, I mean, I like him now. I mean, just because he does have a strong
voice. Spit it out, man.
Adam Lambert.
I don't know. I don't know a song he's done, so I can't like.
It's only one song that.
What do you want from me?
Oh, what do you want from me?
That was like the only thing I know,
know
but he was
song.
so freaking annoying.
But anyway,
all right, off of American Idol.
Yeah, why are we talking about it? Anyway, so then we go. I just put the Rebels are living with Fred, not Wilma, because she doesn't pay shit.
Let me see.
And then we get a good old fashioned rich guy montage.
Right.
Because this is when he starts.
Yeah, I put Rebels move in with Flintstones. Yeah.
So they're basically like, okay, hey, you got to start living like a rich guy. Here's some extra money. No, I mean that. Live like a rich guy.
And they got
the car, they get the clothes, and I love this. I love when they come out of the clothes store and it's like, damn, they just turned into the Monopoly guy. And like, yeah, so it's like they're doing rich guy shit, and Barney's doing shitty odd jobs, and Betty is basically throwing towels to Wilma while she's got a personal trainer. Like, it's pretty fucked up.
Asshole.
Dang, second time, Mom.
Sorry. Maybe.
Dang.
But it's a rich guy montage. It's pretty fucked up. And this is like money changes you. Even Wilma, even though she tries to ride her high horse a lot in this movie, but she's changed. She's like, Betty, towel. And I was like, and the way Betty threw it though.
I was thinking about that. I'm like, would I change like that with money?
Not if I had that. Like I
don't know. I be acting bougie already.
I feel like that's an obscene amount of money to like, because they put additions on the house. They have a hot tub, which is why I think they're swingers. But
is that synonymous? Is that what you're
having
saying?
a hot tub in your house? Yes, equals swingers.
Having a hot tub is synonymous with swingers.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Everything I've ever seen.
Already in a couple.
If
you're already in a couple.
You don't just have a hot tub unless you're
if you're already in a couple.
Every movie I've already seen,
and have a hot tub.
And that One American Dad episode lets me know that there's that hot tubs are for swingers.
So Will and Jada must have a hot tub.
They have like 6. Oh God!
Moving on. So he's in his office or whatever, and Miss Stone comes in, and she's like, "Here, sign the." Well, I want to say papers. Stone.
She did, or
Cliff did the first. That's when he gave him the money.
Kyle.
That's when we kind of passed that. Kyle McLaughlin. Yeah.
This is before Clint. Or whatever. Well, she gets him to sign him by all these things. He's like, "What am I signing?" And he's like, "I better read them." And she's like, "No." And she gets
that's the second time around when she comes in.
Okay. Yeah, and then then we have Barney. He's doing odd jobs here and there. He's fixing up feet, he's cleaning feet, like shining shoes, something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
You
Well,
know,
he works at a gas station.
tires.
And
It's a gas station.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
She was like, full service, please.
Yeah.
And put her feet out.
And then so Betty
Gross.
and Barney are feeling all mistreated and stuff. Oh, like feeling like, okay, like you got our old rich man.
He's a crash test dummy at one point.
Yeah, he did. He did. But we got our friends, like they're doing well
Then when
off
he
and
said
stuff. And
something
we're
she
over
was
here.
trying to encourage him, he's like, I hope so, because tomorrow.
Shoot. Oh, yeah. He said that's because he
testing
killed
shark repellent.
Yeah, shark repellent.
Yeah.
They're in the hot tub just chilling, waiting for Betty and Barney to come out to do swinger stuff.
Yeah. And so they're at this. What is it? A party, like a work party?
Well, no. What happens is this is when he comes back in with more stuff for him to sign. This is the second time around because he was like, "Oh, you're going to this restaurant. Put it on the expense account." And he was like, "Before you leave, sign these." And he was like, "Oh, what is it?" He was like, "Let's just say that we're gonna give everybody a vacation,
a long needed vacation."
He was like, "You know what? That's what I've been talking about." He's finally getting those memos I've been sending. Make sure everybody knows who did it. He's like, "Oh, don't worry. I'll make sure you get all the credit."
All the credit. Yeah.
And Fred's all done like.
And they're in the restaurant. And that's when the
BC 52.
52.
Playing and stuff. They're dancing.
Twash.
Honestly, that's.
Twash.
I love the B-52s.
It looked like a lit party.
I just like Rock Lobster. I don't care about any other stuff.
Lobster.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. They have plenty.
It's just such a dumb song.
I'm not going to do it. I
just like, we were at the beach.
You got to look at,
Everyone had matching towels.
Look at Mesopotamia.
I know that song.
You know that song, Mesopotamia?
Yeah,
That's the joint right there.
Wait, weren't they? They were in Austin Powers, were they? And no. Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of a completely different thing. My bad. He performed as Austin. Mike Myers performed as Austin Powers at the MTV Video Awards one year. And his group was, I think, like the BBC 52s or something like that.
Wow.
So it was like, it was dumb. And then the song was "Do the BBC," and it was really dumb.
Yeah, I think I remember that. No, but
which I do not advise anybody Google. Not anymore.
I'm going to Google it. So.
Though the meaning of BBC has changed.
Oh, yeah. No, it's BBW.
No, trust me. The meaning of BBC has changed.
I see BBW all the time, and I still
because
don't
talks about
know
BBC,
what it means.
Right?
Just BBW is a thing, but
What the
so
hell
is
BBW.
Big Beautiful Woman.
Oh, okay.
But
I've seen that a
BBC
million times.
is something else.
BBC.
The first words are big and black.
Oh,
That's all I'm saying. That's why I say do not go search.
Moving
Don't
on.
search. That's why I say don't Google it. Do not Google it.
It's getting a little inappropriate. Okay?
No, it's look, hey, I tried to tell you, and you just kept. I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna Google it.
I'm not Googling it.
oh my gosh! Anyway,
so they're at this restaurant or whatever. They're dancing to the BC 52, and like it's just Betty's there with Fred and Wilma.
Like
and,
because she was asking her if she wanted to get out there and dance or something.
No, Fred asked her. He was like, "Hey, you want to take a spin? Because swingers." And
Damn it, stop saying that.
No, it's gonna be my thing for the rest of this episode. They're swingers, and and when I go back and rewatch the cartoon, it's gonna make it so much more fun. And just thinking that they're swingers.
Anyway,
he does. He asked her to dance, and she's like, "No, because I'm gonna wait for Barney. He started a new job, but I don't know when he gets off." I was like, "Well."
Okay.
And this is where,
and then all of a sudden,
Barney.
That's when they spilled something.
He spilled his drink.
He spilled the drink, and then the guy comes. Oh, no worries, I'll get someone. Boy, or whatever the heck.
He said, "Busboy,
busboy,
clean this."
And then all of a sudden, you turn around and here's Barney.
And I like this. I like and hate this scene because when Barney gets there, Fred's like, "Hey, Barney, sit down, take a load off." Right. And he was like, "I can't. I'm working." He was like, "What? You're working? Why are you a busboy?" Like, which is, and that's why it's so fucked up.
I not even live with you. What the hell are you talking?
That's such a rich guy thing to do. Like a busboy. Ugh, so beneath me.
Yeah, he was being real bougie.
But then it gets ridiculous. He was like, and then Betty's like, "Oh, why not? It's honest work." He was like, "Yeah, and I don't have to fight Dino for my supper." Like, as far as we know, that happened one time, and in Fred's defense, there were 2 steaks on that thing, so it's not like he was gonna make another one. And he asked her, "You like yours rare, right? Well, that one's yours because it's clearly not finished cooking, so you gotta go get it."
I don't know.
I'm just saying,
it was kind of a jerk move. You should have discarded that.
You're fine. You're caveman. You'll be fine.
But he does that in the show, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why.
kinda.
You know, that's why. Okay, so something I learned in school when I was going to school for ultrasound. The appendix is a lot smaller now. No, listen, it's a lot smaller now. The appendix used to be bigger. You know why? Because people used to have as cooked meat. You know, because they'd be doing stuff out on the fire and all that stuff. So the appendix had to take care of things so they wouldn't get infected and, die. Now our appendixes are much smaller because we don't need that because we cook our meat right.
I'm learning and I don't like it. I don't need to know that.
Well, now you learned something.
The more, what's his name?
The more you know.
The more you
So they're kind of like not really argue a little bit.
Oh no, they argue.
But Fred's throwing his words and it's like, you know what?
Well, no,
sick of this shit. He's like, I switched our tests or whatever, and he finally admits it. And he's like, what?
He's just ooh. But yeah, he does. He says he switched the test. Because he kind of mentions it once before in that same scene where he's talking about shark repellent. Right. Because he was like, that should have been us. And Betty's like, what do you mean? He was like, nothing. Fuck it. Like he was about to say something about it, but he doesn't. He just lets it go. But what ends up happening, like he does, and he was like, no, you did. He was like, why? And this is. And
then he asked him, what's this? He's out of this. What's 2 plus 2?
No,
he quizzed him.
My favorite part though, because when you think about it, after he said it, he goes, why would I switch tests with someone who got the lowest score? But it's like, because they were switched, you idiot. Like, come on, man.
Oh, you didn't switch it, you did.
And I guess Betty didn't know because she's like, it all makes sense now.
And it does. It does. 100%.
You know, the whole time she's like, this does not.
And then he's like,
Barney got the lowest score under Fred?
Well, then he leaves for a second, and then he comes back, and that's when he sees the news report that everybody at the quarry got laid off. Oh. And he was like, he just fired everybody there. He was like, no, I didn't. What the fuck are you talking about? And he was like, and Wilma was like, Fred.
He's like, I just gave him, he said, I just gave him a
nice long vacation. He was like, yeah, a permanent one. Mm-hmm. And he was like, no. And then Wilma's kind of like, well, did you? He was like, no, of course not. Which it doesn't sound in his character, so I wouldn't believe it. But then that's when Betty and Wilma get into it. Yeah. Because she's like, after everything Fred's done for you, you ungrateful little shits. Like,
like you're really gonna believe him over Fred? And it's like, yeah,
you little busboy husband. Yeah. But then so then they're like, we're moving out, and then
they do. It's funny because they have Bam Bam move everything.
He puts it. He's just like, yeah, put it on top of the car. It's fucking ridiculous.
He moves the whole couch. He's like, yeah, and so they leave and stuff like that, and then
And Wilma, this is my favorite argument of the thing. I love this. She was like, I don't need this necklace snap. I don't need this plate. I don't need this china because I don't have any friends to invite to dinner. But there was the TV. That's when pow to the moon. Like, that was a nice TV for a Stone Age thing. I'm just saying, she didn't have to do that.
He's like, you're gonna have to clean all this up.
Oh yeah, you're gonna look pretty stupid.
You have to clean all this up. And he's like, you're gonna come back. You're gonna go around the corner.
Like,
yeah, she was like, you're gonna be halfway around the corner and you'll be begging. You'll be crawling back.
And he said, please.
He did.
Agreed.
Because that is how, I'm not gonna say it's just dudes, but that is how most dudes feel like when they're being all prideful and stuff. They're like, please. Please beg back, please.
Please don't let me be wrong.
And so she leaves him. She goes to her mom's. Apparently,
like, you're not going to your mother's.
And she does. No matter what her mom's like, she going back to her mom's. And then you cut to
most cases.
Some cases,
yeah. You cut to Betty and Barney. They're trying to survive.
They're living in the wild like a bunch of losers.
Yeah, like the egg. And then the big dinosaur comes and he was like, "Where did you get those eggs?" And she's like, "Oh, here, I think it's twins."
That was stupid. That was stupid. It's an egg.
It's messed up because they're forced to live the poor life because.
I mean,
what?
Look, it's caveman times. What the fuck? Why can't you find work?
He is, but it's not enough. They're renting their house.
My thing is he just getting fired from everything?
I'm figuring, how they parallel things that don't make sense.
All right, fair enough.
So maybe they live in California.
Oh shit, yeah. they're in California. What would be the Rock version of California?
That was very California
because they do have a Holly Rock that we do find out they have a Holly Rock in the Flintstones.
And true as reality, so rent probably is ridiculous.
They rented their
Holly
house
Rock.
out,
and Betty don't work. You know what I'm saying? Betty trying to take care of Bam Bam.
None of the
so
women work. She
Yeah.
wasn't working before Bam
that
Bam.
was back in the '60s, so yeah.
None of the women work.
Yeah,
women aren't allowed.
So
Women
he couldn't make enough money just to pay basic rent.
What is? I kind of want to know what the rent is for a house that I could probably build myself.
Well, yeah, ain't nothing but rocks around. It's like just build.
I built this shit.
And you can go
Right?
find your wild elephant or whatever the hell that was.
You got Bam Bam right there.
Make a cobblestone house.
Well, yeah, they were
all stone.
Well, it was stone, but it wasn't cobblestone. Is like rocks like this big.
I don't like learning.
That's too bad. It's too bad you're gonna learn something today.
So anyway,
we
get to that useless scene of them living in the wild, and Fred goes back to work pissed because he's trying to figure out what the fuck is happening now.
He realizes he's caught up in something.
And he tells him, he's like, yeah, I see what you're doing, buddy. Your little sham isn't going to work. And he was like...
And then does the typical thing that they do in movies.
We just talked about that from Batman Forever.
Yeah, tell everybody, give him your plan. I'm going to...
He was like, go ahead, go to Mr. Slate. You should turn yourself in while you're at it.
Yeah.
All your names are signed there. You're the guy.
You signed
Then he's the patsy.
Miss Stone, which is how Barry talking about, like,
she's like, you should run while you still can. Lip quiver. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So now we get Fred on the run.
My notes are done.
Fred on the run.
Well, okay, he goes.
No one gets my song
Well,
reference.
because I'm sorry.
It's a good
Betty
one.
goes to visit Wilma. Sorry,
Never heard Man on the Run.
We're gonna ignore that. Betty goes to visit Wilma. She's
Guys
like,
suck.
I'm still your friend. Even though you.
She's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I love you. Oh my god.
That was just a little scene, and then you got he goes to the shadows in Bedrock basically, and
we find out a lot of things because we get this Jay Leno sketch, this fake Jay Leno.
oh yeah,
And he does the sketch of him embezzling, and it's so stupid because he's just like, "What are you doing? I'm embezzling." That's not how that works
I like
at
how
all.
simply they did that.
I just like that was the first time I ever heard that word.
Nobody
So I don't know what that
themselves,
is.
Like even if they are embezzling, nobody says I'm
I'm
embezzling.
embezzling.
Yeah, it's kind of a dumb thing.
And then not to mention he's such a galoot.
Yeah.
Like he would say embezzling.
Yeah, it's dumb.
But I love it. It works.
But then, not just that, and then we find out that Cliff is essentially planning to leave old girl behind, Sharon Stone.
Oh yeah, she's like, Cliff, how comes there's just one ticket? He's like, well, I
Joe,
don't wanna...
check this shit out.
Yeah, basically, I didn't want to look suspicious with both of us, so I'm gonna go ahead.
And she knows.
make
But
sure
here's my thing.
everything's-
You were talking about being suspicious and all that shit. What is the FBI situation looking like in these times to where you're worried? Like, are they not checking tickets? Like, they don't have digital footprints. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, they both left the country at the same time. Like, no one's going to fucking know.
Well, they stamp like their stamp cards at work.
But how is that going to get back to anybody who matters?
True.
It's in stone.
Yo,
It's in stone. Everything's in stone, Tracy.
Pun intended.
Literally.
That was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good one. Fuck.
Oh,
There's a lot of puns. Like, look.
There's
so many. I mean, it's so simple, but.
So, anyways, yeah, we get all that stuff, and then when she goes, "Oh, it looks like you thought of everything."
But she's obviously like.
She's looking at him.
And then we go. Then that's when we get Fred in the shadows, and
That's like when she wait. What movie was that? No, that was J Lo in Monster Line. You motherfucker.
but yeah, so yeah, we get the Fred in the shadows, joined with his fake beard. It's a good fake beard.
It's a good horrible.
It's a good horrible fake beard.
Like honestly,
and then why does the damn garbage disposal?
Yeah, that's messed up. The garbage.
He was out of work too.
Like replaced because he got money.
He was a hater.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody else, I understand. This garbage disposal is a fucking hater. Like he straight up was just like
a little bit fall off.
He was like, Flintstone.
And then the guy was like, "What? This beard is fake."
Because I'm comfortable. My hand is comfortable.
Your hand is.
These two can't get it together.
Space.
So yeah, basically we get that. They find him and they're about to string this dude up like a literal hanging. God damn, this movie got dark real fast.
Barney comes with the ice cream.
And this is what I'm saying. The stakes in this movie got way too high for a Flintstones movie.
He wrote up and it was like business opportunity. He was like, I'm gonna get some money off these. They gonna want some ice cream after this lynching.
But that's what I'm saying. So like, but any Flintstones episode, like death is usually not like.
It's not a thing.
It's usually like the worst thing that happens is Wilma's mad at Fred. Like that's what he's afraid of most of everything is Wilma.
They've been bopped in the head with rocks.
That's what I'm saying. Those are the stakes. Oh man, I got to get this money back. Oh, I got to, you know what I mean?
Wilma's gonna kill me.
Wilma's gonna kill me. It's never like the fate of this family. Like there's like this movie turns quick right after this. Like the movie should have just been him figuring it out. They do a little thing to get him arrested, and that's the movie. They learn the lesson, but he's still back on his schemes at the end of it. Like that should be it. The way
this thing goes, he should never be on schemes.
But I mean, just because that's the way it works. Yeah. It's Keenan and Kel. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
So that's what happens. He rolls up. Barney tries to rolls up selling ice cream and stuff like that, and then he's like, "What the heck?" He sees Fred. He's like,
"What are you doing here? I'm working. What are you doing here? I'm getting lynched, huh?" So, anyways,
but then he's talking too much, and he reveals that used to be my friend, and he's like,
what he says that gets his ass in trouble is if it wasn't for me, this whole thing probably wouldn't have even happened. And they were like, "Oh man, that's good. You just saved us from making a big mistake. String them both up."
That's messed up too, because like he did not see that he's not my friend no more.
Right.
Like,
and in the midst of this, Wilma goes because she's like they see that embezzling skit, and she's like Fred would never do that. And then they see the bird in the skit. He's like, but I think I know somebody who could help because we did kind of skip over. Well, because it's not important, but we missed the part where he goes to the office, she goes to the office, and he's tickling Miss Stone or some shit.
Right.
And that's when we meet the bird.
She saw the bird. Right.
And then the catchphrase, yabba dabba dabba.
He didn't even know like yabba dabba dabba.
Yabba dabba dabba. And
but they know to go get this bird or whatever, and they go take it, and
I like this part too. Well, no, he doesn't. He sees him
through the window.
Oh yeah, he sees him. Yeah, he sees him because he's like, "Who is that?" He was like,
"Or the open space that looks like a window."
Yeah, that hole. And she's like, "Oh, that's Fred Flintstone's wife." He was like, "What is she do?" Goddamn bird, because he probably did. It dawns on him. Oh, the bird can snitch. Like, and then he's like, "I guess you haven't thought of everything, Cliff." And she's like, "All right, movie, goodbye." And then so Wilma and I bet he chokes out the bird. Let's not fucking get past that part. That's funny as fuck.
She does.
She chokes the
Let me try. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Wilma's like, "Come on, you gotta help. It's the right thing to do." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "Yeah,
that's not convincing.
Go fuck yourself." And then Betty's like, "Let me try." He just chokes the shit out of this.
And then it's like,
just chokes the shit out of this nigga. Like, yeah,
I like the tactic.
It's good tactics. It's good tactics. So yeah, we get that. It's hilarious. And then they see them about to get lynched up, and they hit a tree, which knocks the tree down, which I think would have tightened the nooses, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know shit. I feel like
physics doesn't work in the prehistoric.
Look. In their universe, things are a little different. Okay,
clearly. Also, a lynching, like literal. What the fuck? This movie got dark. This movie got dark real fast.
They were ready to literally hang.
Just got real.
Like no one has barely even been hurt in this movie up until this point. Now we're talking about lynching people.
They really want to. I mean,
they really have the nooses around their neck.
They want to kill them because they lost their jobs. I mean, that's their livelihood. So that's the way.
That's understandable. But they're putting way too much energy into this lynching thing, and not enough into finding new jobs.
Gonna get your job back, right?
So yeah, Wilma and the bird come. They basically prove the innocence, or they tell everybody that we can prove his innocence if Fred apologizes, and who cares? Give a shit about this apology to a fucking bird, piece of office equipment. Yeah, so then they go home, and lo and behold, They've been ransacked. They're like, "Where's the door open? Oh my God, something's wrong."
And freaking his mother-in-law's tied up.
All tied up.
And he walks over her. I love it.
What happened?
He's like, "Oh my God, Dino! Oh, not my boy Dino!" And he unties Dino and leaves her there.
And even though he's annoyed with Dino, he loves Dino more than his
It's
mom.
his dog, of course. The man and his dog type of deal. But yeah, so basically, he gets the note from Cliff. I've got your kids. I'll kill your goddamn kids. Bring the dick to Bird, and everything will be fine. And they're like,
that was kind of dark, you know.
That's what I
some dark
mean.
stuff.
The stakes got too high. What are we doing?
It escalated quickly.
It escalated too quickly. Like, the end of this movie should have been Fred basically tricking them into admitting their plans, and Mr. Slate being like, "I heard the whole thing."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
End of movie.
No, there was
I don't give
actually
a-
lives on the line here.
There's not just on the line. Like it got too much, man. Basically, I didn't even write anything down. I just put getting the kids back because that's this whole thing.
Again?
Yeah.
Dang, you got issues. And
Yeah.
you almost knocked my phone over for the fourth
I was
time.
gonna say your mama got issues.
Well, yeah, that means
it's
that's
true.
you.
It's truth.
But
There
yeah,
we go.
so we get this, and it's all this shit, man. It's like he's got a gun, like that shoots rocks.
Oh, did he?
And at some point, yeah, he tries because he gets the Dick to Bird back, and he tries to shoot him, and that's Sharon Stone hits him over the head with the rock, and she's like, "Is there anything else, Mr. Flintstone?" "No, that'll be all. Take the rest of the day off." And then, but it's like if they're in this contraption, Rick Moranis shoots himself up there. He's useless in this entire thing.
Well, he gets there and he almost saves the Pebbles and Bam Bam.
All he had to do was untie
And
him.
he was mesmerized by it. He finally, Bam Bam was like,
Dada!
And
You
he's
said
like,
it. You said dada. Pow.
Okay, but to be honest, that's pretty mesmerizing. If your kid only says Bam Bam his whole life, and he says that, Dada, you're like, you know, even my son, he's caught me off guard a few times. And I'm like, he does love me. Okay.
He loves no one.
But he gets knocked out by a rock.
He gets knocked out by a rock. A whole ass rock. There's some stuff happening.
And you see them, they're like, damn.
That's all I put. I put the stakes are way too high for a Flintstones movie. Because there are like
and honestly, it's dark. I mean, they made it in a light way, but that's dark as hell. Almost got lynched. Your kids almost got killed in machinery.
And a guy dies. He gets encased in accidental concrete. You know what I mean? Like,
he's dummy tries to run off, and then the stuff falls on him. When everything falls, like concrete falls, and
yeah.
And what kills me, like, okay, so he got caught up because he wanted to be all greedy. He got encased by the concrete.
He went back
like
for
that.
the monies.
I didn't even think about him being dead because I honestly thought it was mud.
Nah, this dude is dead.
And Mr. I put on here. I was just like, Mr. Slate, this is the old guy. He's like likes his dead concrete covered body.
Well, no, because
he names it after his daughter, Concretia.
Concretia.
But it's funny because before that we get the cops.
Can we acknowledge that?
No,
Concretia.
Concretia. It's not even a rock. It's not even a. Yeah. Oh my God.
I was like, he's got a black kid.
You guys are fucked up.
I love these puns.
But it's funny. But it's not even a pun because concrete didn't exist yet.
Right, but that's the whole point. He named it after Concretia, but he shortened it to Concrete
Oh
to make it
my
sound
God.
more
That's so
professional.
fucking stupid.
That was good.
When we do get Mrs. Stone getting arrested, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll let him know. I'll try to. I'll smooth it over with Mr. Slate, and let him know you had nothing to do with it, even though she 100% did. But she has to seduce one more time. She's like, "I'm sorry, I was a bad girl, but I was really, really good at it." And I was like,
yeah, it's got to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like
Honestly,
extra over the top.
Good
That's
for
what
you,
it
Halle
is.
Berry, because it worked for her. I mean, it's fine. She didn't have to be a good actor in this movie.
well, she
that.
was also like a side character. So I mean,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
fine.
She doesn't necessarily have to be a good actor. in
But,
any
I
movie.
mean, with
She
that
did
being
great.
said-
Well, she took that to heart.
Her being a side character, she still made herself
She's a
more
presence.
relevant. Yes.
She is more. I remember her more than I remember Mr.
To
Slate.
be honest,
Yeah.
So,
right?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Absolutely. So she was a very
She was in this
prominent
movie more than
side
Dino
character.
was. What are we talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
for her.
Real talk.
I don't like Dino.
Good for you, Halle Berry.
Heck, she was in this movie more than Bam Bam. I mean,
As she should have been.
Yeah,
We don't need
obviously.
these kids in this movie.
and Pebbles.
They were only in this movie because they're in the show.
Yeah,
Other than
they're
that,
Pebbles
there's no
and
reason.
But they were
Yeah.
more like props.
Yeah.
They are kids are props in general.
They are.
Kids are props.
They are
You just take them places and you be like, yeah, it's my kid. I get it free, right?
Unless they're in the movie or in the show, like become characters on their own volition.
Yeah. Like Full House.
Yeah.
They gave her fucking catchphrases.
Or like, what's that show?
You got it, dude.
Like, what's that show? That show with what's her name?
You do this.
Christina Applegate and the other girl.
Oh yeah.
And the kids.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that? What's that show?
You said
Dead to Me.
Dead to Me.
I still have it. I always meant to
you
because
gotta
I like
watch it.
Christina
You got to come out
Applegate.
with
Show,
the
actually.
new season. It's a really good show.
New season. I thought that thing got canceled because that came
No,
out in like
they're making a new
2018,
season.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
they're
they
making a
got
new
it.
season.
Yeah, they got it. You know, pandemic happened, but they have a new season.
Cool.
Whatever.
Guess I'll
Cool
do
show
some.
that you should watch.
Yeah,
Too, but
Dead to Me.
Guess I'll do some catch up.
moving on to the end of it.
He offers him another vice president job or some shit.
And he was like, yeah, but
and he stops
and then he was
himself.
like,
yeah. And he
you
was
know
like,
what?
you know what? He offers it to Barney because
No, well, he
deserves it
doesn't
more.
offer it to Barney. He's like, I can't take that because
Oh yeah.
I've got power hungry and the money went to my head.
Yeah.
He was like, dude, you're going to be richer than your wildest dreams. I'd have been like, I'll take it.
Just break him off a little bit.
I'll take it. I'll just do things differently this
kind
time.
of making an offer I can't refuse.
I saw the wrong way. Now I know the right way. I got
Right.
this. I'll definitely learn this time. But he doesn't take it, but he's like, all right, but what we do want is things that are now like implemented in regular jobs.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
like paid vacation, annual and pay increases, and little ketchup packets in the lunchroom, which is outside, so the fuck? But yeah, that was it. That's all he asked for.
How that, like, they made ketchup then?
Well, what he was doing was what he would have wanted before all that happened.
Yeah, the things that he wanted. He,
Yeah.
more just annual pay increase.
Yeah.
Give me what you owe me, bro.
But for the purposes of this movie, Barney deserved it more, and I'm glad he got it.
I don't know if Barney deserved it more.
He did not.
What did he deserve this one for? This second raise, he should have got the first one, but it was a patsy job, so it's not like it mattered.
True.
This was
But
Mr.
because of
Slate.
his test.
Well, this
that-
was
he
Mr.
qualified.
Slate offering it to Fred because he invented concrete.
Did he?
Because
Barney
Sure.
was still part of that.
Sure. Then they should have went 50-50, but these both of them are idiots and they didn't think about it.
Dang.
And then the movie ends and we get the
Whatever.
outro.
Yeah, you got the outro.
Flintstones meet the Flintstones. Which is real. We get the rib gag,
Yeah.
which I
Well, what's great
fucking
about
love.
this movie
And then,
is-
of course, the piece de resistance.
Wait, did you guys
You'll
see?
have a game.
Did you guys see what movie that they saw?
What?
It was the Flintstones, wasn't it?
No, they didn't go see the Flintstones. They were coming out of George Lucas's Star Wars.
Shut up.
I wrote it
I
down.
did not
see
notice
that.
that.
Star
I did not see
Wars.
that.
Oh my gosh.
Star Wars.
A lot of
You
things I
paid
missed.
far
I probably
more
missed-
attention to
I
detail.
probably missed more than this.
Yeah, it jumped right out at me.
But I loved it. There's puns everywhere throughout
Puns.
this movie.
So yeah, they
And
do
I
that.
enjoyed
Then we
it.
get the last gag of him getting kicked out the house by a fucking cat,
Oh yeah, the saber tooth.
and Wilma can't hear him. Apparently, it's
Well,
And that's funny because that's exactly how it is in the show. And
Yeah.
it's like, how can you not hear everything?
Wait, not just that though. The window with no
There's no
glass and it is right there. That drove me crazy when I was a kid. Actually, it's
It
like,
did too.
why can't he just go in the
I
goddamn
think
window?
that's-
and
I'm like-
because he's a fat guy.
But I'm like,
But he can be at least go in the window like, well, I'm outside. Come on.
Well, he's also
door.
banging on the door. Like she
But I'm
heard
like-
it. She intentionally was like, "Fuck you,
My
guy."
first intention was like, Wilma, go through the window. Wilma.
But what's crazy is because just like in the cartoon, you see all the lights in the neighborhood come on, like, shut the fuck
Everybody
up.
but Wilma hears him.
But did you ever
She
see?
made
Did you
it.
see the Family Guy sketch where he was like, "The fuck." Like
No,
you
I
didn't
didn't
see
see
me?
that, no.
They did that same thing with the Jetsons. How he gets caught on the the
Oh,
little
yeah.
the little treadmill thing, and he's like, "Jane, stop this crazy thing." He comes in and he was like, "What the fuck? You didn't hear me out there? I was screaming.
yeah.
I was out there for 45 minutes. I know because that's when my watch stopped."
But it's true. It's probably truth to that. You know, wives.
She was like, "I couldn't
In other
hear
words,
you."
it's like, in other words, she was ignoring your ass.
Yeah,
This nigga was
I
out
can
there
get back at
dying.
you. I'm gonna go ahead and lay here for a little bit.
Do you
I
believe?
don't feel like getting up.
Do you believe that theory that the Jetsons and the Flintstones take place in the same universe, or like basically in the same time?
I think so.
Where it's like that's why all the houses are on stalks, and below is like where the Flintstones are, and above is like Jetsons Town.
I can believe that.
There's like all that fog there. No one goes below the fog.
They don't know.
No one goes below the fog.
They
Which
did
is why they were able to do a movie.
That crossover.
That crossover.
Yeah, which was really bad.
Yeah, I only seen
whatever
parts of it.
cartoon logic.
Yeah. All right, so let's do what we do. Let's go around the horn and give our ratings and recommendations. We'll start with Mom.
Because I'm to your right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is our final whatevers.
Yeah.
Final
Final
I
thoughts.
don't have a thing underneath me.
Well, I would. That's why I kind of like the thing better.
Anyway, I say, well, first of all, this definitely met the criteria for what is it?
Shows.
A show
A
that
family
was
show.
adapted in a family show adapted into a movie. Definitely.
I win.
So in terms of that, it just definitely did it. That I liked it. I always have. It's a great spoofy, punny, just everything that you want in a.
I know. I see that she had to. She had no choice.
I love it in that way. It just it put you there. It took to me a good spoof, remake or the adaptation puts you there, brings you into the memories of it and all that stuff. And this did it greatly. So
What do you give it?
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Damn.
That's a pretty good score there.
That's a pretty good score there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for the category, right?
Jana, yeah.
So my turn. I enjoyed that it wasn't like extra long. Like movies these days are so extra long.
They're too long.
And I'd like, is it appropriate timing for the type of movie it is? Because even little kids movies and
Some of them are too long.
yeah. They're still long these days. But this is nice, sweet timing, and I enjoyed every second of it. I love the puns. I love how the characters stick to the actors stick to what the characters actually say and do, and I enjoyed that. I mean, I liked it when I was a kid, and I like it now. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's one of my favorite movies, but I do enjoy it. So I'm gonna give it an 8.
All right. This was my pick. I give it I'm just right off the bat. I give it a 7.5 because I think the ending was just too much. The stakes were too fucking high.
But
I don't need to be concerned with death in my Flintstones movie, man. It was just too much, bro. It had like Pokemon the movie stakes, man. Like there's too much on the line. It's too much on the line, dude. I don't need to.
Not that kind of emotional.
Yeah,
No, it wasn't. It didn't hit that emotional peak. But God, it was. Kids were almost gonna die, so
dark.
there's that.
It was dark.
But other than that, I mean, I've always liked this movie too. I think casting, it's probably one of the best cast adaptations I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Especially better than the Beverly Hillbillies. That shit was garbage. But yeah, I mean, I just really like this movie, and it's always a fun watch. I never get tired of it.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
That was me.
So 7.5.
Yeah, 7.5.
So
Because
on
of
an
the
average,
ending.
we could say it's an 8.
It's an 8. That's still good out of 10. What are you talking?
3/4.
No, a half. I'm giving a half.
No, but still on an average, that's still like 8. So that's still good. That's still good.
So
I mean, it's still something you can watch and enjoy
Yes,
as an adult.
it's its own cult
kid.
classic. I would
You
say.
understand more as an
I
adult
don't-
some of the things and
maybe.
puns.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a cult classic. I don't know if there's like
It is.
a following. I don't know.
No, it is a
I
following.
don't know.
There is a following.
I don't know.
There's things I didn't realize.
I'm just saying I don't know.
Honestly, as good as the show as Avatar, but I didn't realize there was as much of the following as there is now. Because now I see
For what?
For Avatar, for The Last Airbender.
The movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, the show.
Oh, I was gonna say yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying I didn't realize there's as much as a following because now I see on all kinds of posts that don't have nothing to do with
That's because
it.
you've never been to
That's
college.
rough, buddy. That's rough, buddy.
You didn't go to college post Avatar, so you know. I did, and yeah.
But no, this is a good this
Adults.
is a classic movie. This is something I enjoyed when I was a kid, and I can enjoy now, and something that everybody can enjoy. Just listen,
Yeah, and
listen to
well,
the praise.
and that's the truth. It's unfortunately, it's very few movies that can get enjoyed across the board. Meaning from very young all the way up to
half of this movie. I ended up watching with Amira because she woke up. And she just wouldn't shut up. She was like, "Why is he floating? Can he fly?" When he was doing like the do shit, and it was fucking weird.
Watch everything with her, man. Talk to
Just
her.
asking me every single. She was like, "Because what the part where they go and Barney gets flinged up there, and you hear Pebbles go, "Uncle Barney," and she was like, "Is that his uncle?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, not really. Like, I don't know. What do you want me to say? The hell do you want me to do?" I was just like, "Yes, yes."
Can't watch nothing with kids.
Yes.
Man.
I was like, "Yes, Fred and Barney are indeed brothers. Yes, yes."
Sort of.
Jesus.
But yeah, the summer. We didn't even do a synopsis.
Well, I mean, we were here.
Well, we're too late.
Yeah, it's a little.
But still, like next time, I want to do my synopsis. I want my time
Let the girl do a damn synopsis.
We'll let you do the synopsis next time. Sorry. I was distracted. We don't do it this way, so I'm not used to it.
No, we're like trying to. So we're figuring out our new normal.
I like us better together, though. I hope you guys like us better together because that video stuff. I mean, we can communicate, but I like this better.
I kind of like the video stuff.
Of course you do. So you can add all your things. And
Yes, he likes all the technical.
Yes.
Yes, it's awesome.
Why are you
Too
taking
bad.
that? You're taking this away from
Too
me.
bad. Meg,
You don't want to be with us. No.
No, I'm kidding. I do.
it's better. We got
Kind
a new office and everything. Office chair.
She's been on this damn chair.
of. So what next week? We won't be. There won't be an episode next week because we are celebrating two birthdays. Apparently, we're celebrating my daughter's birthday again. Well,
You didn't really celebrate.
Well, she's
Yeah,
getting.
y'all just went to Knott's.
She's getting a do-over because Knott's was garbage.
And I had, the party you give adults. Not really much of a party, but it's
And
cool.
of course, you have your Bam Bam is having a birthday.
Oh, that too.
Yes.
So we're celebrating 3 birthdays in one, basically. So
We're not celebrating
Or,
your birthday.
If we got to go there.
We're not celebrating your birthday.
She's trying to throw her.
We're only celebrating the kids.
Throw herself in there.
We're only
special too, okay?
we're only celebrating the kids. We're not celebrating.
special too.
We're not celebrating your
Amira's
birthday.
birthday is my birthday, so yeah, it is my celebration.
We're not celebrating
We're
you.
going to what is it? Kids Palace.
We're going to
I'm
Kids
gonna be on those
Kids
slides
Empire.
Too. Oh, Kids Empire.
We're not celebrating you, Johnny.
Be
Get
on
over
those
it.
slides too. I'm gonna be enjoying my birthday. With
What a
this
loser. Anyway, yeah. So, but after that, what are we doing?
Oh, it was my turn. So I guess we're another family show adapted into a movie, and I think it's a great one that everybody loves, the Addams Family. So that's the first one that came to mind, but also I think that's a great choice because
The Addams Family. Yeah. Yeah.
dope movie.
So we will reconvene.
in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome.
Damn it, family reels.
It doesn't work.
Can just never sign off like
forget
something
till
normal.
we get to this point, and I'm like, oh,
It's
damn,
like
outro.
the awkward outro.
Yeah. So on that note, it's been real.
We should put our hands
Family
together,
reel.
Put our hands in.
Family.
Go ahead.
I'm cutting you guys.